Okay. Hi. I don't know what am I gonna do.
Just, we wanted to make a video of
Oh yeah. So my husband will tell you like how we make it here in the Philippines. It's not gonna be like a tutorial because we only watch some tutorial on YouTube, but he's gonna tell you like what he thinks of it, kind of thing.
Well, the process.
Yeah, the process and all that stuff.
So what do you want to know first? Hold that thing over.
I don't know. What am I gonna ask you? Just tell them like.
Watch it. So it's not all jacked up. All right. So we went to. First of all, we had to. Didn't have to, but we went with Philippine Airlines because they fly straight through from Los Angeles to Manila. So we got a flight from Denver to LA.
Yeah.
And from LA straight to Manila with Philippine Airlines, obviously. But when we started out from Denver, we purchased this whole trip through Philippine Airlines website. And so we went to Denver. They actually asked us for a few things in regards to requirements to enter the Philippines. So we were able to provide that. We did our homework beforehand, and a huge shout out to Jennifer Terri and her YouTube channel.
Yeah.
She's awesome. I mean, we watched her videos, and along with some other ones, the V family and that kind of thing, when they flew over here. And unfortunately, some videos where people failed to complete something, and they had to do it right at the airport, which was actually a big help for us because we were able to learn from a hiccup or a bump in the road from other people that were traveling over here. So we were able to get our One Health Pass done, get our QR code for that. We were able to get our prepaid swab test stuff taken care of over here. The Trays app, which everybody said that you really needed, and we'll get into that here in a little while. But we were able to get all of that together. On top of all the paperwork that we needed the marriage license, we needed birth certificates, we needed the dual citizenship, we needed all of that stuff for us to be able to travel over here. Because the only way I could come into the country was under the Balikbayan visa and get the year-long visa. But in order to do that, you have to show that you are truly married to a Filipino, and so you have to bring that paperwork along with you. And all of that was learned through like Jennifer Terry's YouTube videos and that kind of thing. So that was a huge help for our travels. So when we went to Denver, we were able to provide some of that stuff and check our baggage. And a lot of the videos out there were showing that the baggage wasn't being checked all the way to Manila. So you would fly from your home to LA, and then you had to go collect your baggage and then rebook it with Philippine Airlines. But buying it through the Philippine Airlines website, we were able to have our bags checked all the way from Denver to Manila. We never had to touch them again. So we left Denver, little over 2-hour flight, landed in LA, and that's where the issues kind of started. Not bad issues, just some issues. There's like virtually no, at least where we were at, there was no departure screens besides the individual airline that we flew from Denver to LA on. There was no general departure screen. It was just for that specific airline. So we wandered around in there. We finally found a lady that helped us out and sent us in the right direction. So we ended up going clear across the airport, long walk. And then finally found a departure screen, and we heard an announcement over the intercom in the airport about Philippine Airlines, and you needed to go to the check-in desk. So in order to do that, because you had to check all your papers and they had to ensure that you had everything. But in order to do that, you had to leave the secure area and exit security, go to the baggage check-in, which we did. Huge line, huge long line.
Oh yeah.
And we waited there and waited there and waited there, and eventually we got called up to the counter. They checked everything. They took some photocopies of various stuff, and we were good to go. They checked the One Health Pass and everything else there as well. So when you left there, then you had to go back and go through security again to get into where the gate was.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, once you were through security, it was literally, according to the sign, it was 15-minute walk to the gate. And you could take a bus, but we never could find the bus. So we ended up walking, and I think it was about 10 to 15 minutes. It wasn't terrible, but it was a long walk. We got to the gate, and we got that all squared away. We're waiting there.
How long did we wait?
We were there for a few hours.
Is it like at least 3 hours?
Yeah, it was probably 2.5 hours waiting for them to start boarding. If you're going to travel, make sure you have some snacks with you. The price of snacks, especially in the LA airport, is beyond ridiculous. I mean, it's expensive.
Yeah, and when you board, like they're saying that they're gonna give you face shield, but
they do not. So
they run out of face shield.
If you were, they say it's a requirement to be on board that you have to have a face shield. Luckily, we had face shields that were bought at the dollar store.
Yeah.
And they actually have the foam or the plastic part that goes along your forehead, which I actually like better than the eyeglass style that sits on your nose. I saw a lot of people wearing that kind with the eyeglass, and they were hating it. They were kicking it back. But the one that rests on your forehead, and they're cheap, it was $1, was not bad at all. The boarding process was interesting. I've never seen an airline board like that. It was kind of unorganized chaos for a little while. There was a lot of people getting on the flight.
It's like it's a full plane.
And it was just crazy. But we got on the plane, obviously. The flight itself was pretty good. No major turbulence or anything.
Really
like that.
good pilot too.
The pilot was really good. Both takeoff and landing was beyond smooth. Very, very good. Some of the flight attendants were really good. Some not so much. But I mean, it is what it is. Those poor people are wearing basically gowns and from head to toe they're covered with masks and protective
face
gear
shield
and gloves and everything else. It's crazy how much stuff they have on, and they were that way the whole flight. The service was okay. It wasn't great, but again, you could tell that they were working hard. I wouldn't want their job not with this pandemic going on. I mean, it was crazy. The food was it was just okay. It was middle of the road at best. It wasn't great. It wasn't even really that good. It was something. But it got us, something in our belly, and we were able to actually rest a decent portion of the flight. I think it was about...
How long is that?
It was between 14 and a half and 15 hours, I think, total, which is a long flight. Overall, it was pretty good. We were in economy. It wasn't bad. It was expensive. due to the pandemic and all that. They are not cheap flights going to the Philippines right now. And then they were saying that leaving the Philippines is like $500 to get a ticket, which is good. But going over there it was quite a bit more than that. So we land in Manila, and we had to sit on the plane while a Philippine Coast Guard member came and did an announcement for the whole plane. Everybody had to remain in their seats. The one thing that I actually was surprised at, because when we boarded the plane in LA, it was like unorganized chaos just to get on the plane. They had signs that they were holding up. Okay, this group of people over here, this group of people over there. It was kind of just crazy. When we got into Manila, they actually did it by rows to get off the plane. So you didn't have these people that were rushing to get off. Everybody had to wait until their row was called. It was really organized. It was very smart how they did it when we landed in Manila. Now we were prepared with all of our stuff for the landing in Manila, with all of our QR codes and the One Health Pass and everything. And everything that we had read about, heard about on videos and everything else was be prepared to stay a couple hours in the airport trying to get through all of this stuff. So we were expecting that. We got off the plane. They're taking your temperature as you're going up the skyway there to get into the terminal. No problem there, and just went through. And then they split you, the OFWs and the non-OFWs. They go separate areas. We went into obviously the non-OFW. We sat down, and within
few minutes,
just a couple minutes, we were back up, and we were up at the counter with our One Health Pass QR code. They scanned it, and then they had us input our seat numbers for tracking later, and we were on to the next counter, and that was for the hotel. Did that. They put a little sticker on our
passport
on the back of the passport, and then we also had we had already prepaid for the swab test here, so we showed that, and again, it was they scanned our QR code for the One Health Pass, and we were on our way to
immigration.
Yeah,
immigration.
So we went to immigration, and then we had one little hiccup there because my wife didn't provide the correct paperwork to them.
Initially,
I don't know what they thought, because they're not letting tourists in the country, but the way that we presented ourselves to them, they believed like we were tourists, because they asked, well, how long are you planning on being here? And then she told them, oh, well, I'm a dual citizen. And then we had to pull out the paperwork and pull out the marriage license and everything else. So I was able to get the Balikbayan visa, which is a year-long visa. No problems. Once we provided the correct paperwork, it was no issue at all. We got our passports stamped, and then we moved on to collecting our.
That's the longest, actually, is finding our suitcases.
Well, by the time we got there, they had the majority, not all of it, but the majority of the luggage was already out and lined up in kind of groups. And so we had to walk through there and grab our luggage. We found mine really quickly, and the one thing that we did do that I'm glad we did, we put some stickers on our luggage. So I was able to look and go, oh, that's ours. We had some shamrocks and stuff on there. So we were able to grab mine right away. It took a little bit longer to find hers, but really it didn't take that long. And we found it. And then we moved over to customs. Well, before customs, we had to go through another checkpoint with the Coast Guard.
What is that for?
Remember the gal we scanned our QR code again. So throughout that process, it was several different times where they scanned the QR code for the One Health Pass. And The Philippine Coast Guard was really helpful. They were very, very organized, as well as Philippine Airlines. I mean, they were, for all of the bad things that I have heard about Philippine Airlines and all the mediocre stuff that I saw, their organization, as far as it comes to landing in Manila until you're outside of the airport, was great. I mean, it was really, really well done. The Philippine Coast Guard was very helpful. No one there was
not willing to.
Yeah, they were not in a bad mood. They were all willing to just answer any question you had. They were willing to point you in the right direction, help you out doing whatever you needed to do. So we went through there, got it scanned again, and then we went to customs and to turn in your custom card and declare whatever you wanted to declare. That literally took
seconds.
10 seconds, and we were done with that. We went from there. They give you a piece of paper to fill out for a taxi, unless you had already prepaid or pre-scheduled a ride to your hotel.
Like a shuttle from the hotel.
And most of the hotels have a shuttle, but we did not have one. So we filled out the stuff for the paperwork for a taxi, and ended up going and getting a taxi and getting over to the hotel. When we got to the hotel, again, it is a quarantine hotel, and they're used to this process by now. It was all prepaid before we ever got here. So we went to the hotel, went through the process. They do a temperature check again, make you walk through like a disinfecting little foot pad, and then some hand sanitizer. You go in, you check in with the front desk. They get your passports, and the gal that was there was very, very polite, very helpful. Explained everything really well to us. Gave us basically the rule list, which you can't leave your room basically. They brought us up. We got into the room, and everybody was very helpful. It was very, very smooth. Everything that we had heard about before coming was kind of chaotic, but I didn't see it at all.
It's easier than I imagined.
It was not chaotic at all. It was very organized.
We left the hotel or the airport in what, 30 minutes?
Yeah, I think it was about 30 minutes total that we were at the airport after we got off the plane.
Yeah.
It took a little bit to get off the plane because the Coast Guard has an announcement. They explain what's going on, and then a Philippine airline spokesperson gets on there and does the same thing. So they kind of doubled the announcement, and they only really needed one because it was the same process both of them were doing. But once we were actually off the plane, it went very, very quick, very smooth, and they had a good amount of people pointing you in the right direction, helping you get through it as quickly as you could. So I was very impressed with that, and no issues at all the way to the hotel and getting up here. And then they explained before we left the airport that you will receive an email from the swab test people on the third day. Make sure that you reply back before the end of the fourth day. And so they have. I'm sure early on in the process it was kind of crazy, but it seems like now they have it down, and it's not an issue at all. I mean, it was very, very smooth. Very, very impressed with all of it. The Trays app that we downloaded and was never asked for that. Never asked for a QR code for it. And then when we got to the hotel here, I saw that there was a different tracing app that they use here, and it's not the Trays app. So I don't know that it's necessary to have that. I don't care that we did. It didn't hurt anything to sign up for it and register for it and have it. It just nobody ever asked us for any of it. So we got in the hotel. We were actually here after they served breakfast. So we figured, okay, well, we're just not going to get breakfast. We're going to have to wait till lunch to get a meal. And then about 15 minutes after we arrived here, they actually brought breakfast up to us. So that was kudos for the Golden Phoenix here. So the food has been pretty good. I mean, it's not going to change a whole lot. You're going to get rice. You're going to get some kind of meat and probably a vegetable of some kind. Nothing fancy, but it's actually not bad. And as far as size, it's not huge amounts, but it's sufficient. We also watched some other videos of people who stayed here, and we brought some snacks and some different things to have here based off of those videos. And from the food, I think the food has gotten better over time. Some of the early videos of when they first started the quarantine hotel here, the food was minimal. It was very small. Now it is. I feel like it's not bad at all, and you're getting 3 meals a day. And on top of that, you can order additional food if you want it from the hotel restaurant. And if you need something from a store like water or batteries or whatever you need, you just call them. You give them a list, and one of the staff members will run out, purchase it for you, and then you pay for those items. And we've already done that. We needed some batteries and stuff like that for electronics and that kind of thing. So they have done a really good job trying to organize it now. They say that you can't order like McDonald's or Jollibee or whatever, which is fine. Like I said, the food here is not bad. It's sufficient quality and amount. Not bad at all. I'm sure by the end of our quarantine, the food's going to get pretty boring. So I'm sure that we will purchase some things from the restaurant just to change it up a little bit. But so that's basically our trip from Denver to Manila and our experience. We're not going to go through everything in great detail, but it was pretty smooth overall. And kudos to the Coast Guard over here and Philippine Airlines. They got it organized and they've got it down. I mean, it was very impressive for us. So that's it for now, I guess. And unless you got something else you want me to talk about, I guess we'll see you on the next one.